Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. Today we're going to make a tomato tart. As you know, it's summertime and there are lots of beautiful tomatoes in the farmers markets, and if you're lucky enough to be growing in your garden. The first thing you need is a pre-baked tart shell, which I have right here. And I will put the ingredients in my description for the tart shell that I make. I always make an all butter tart shell. So this is flour, a little bit of salt, butter, unsalted butter, and ice cold water. So I'll give you that recipe in the description. But you do need to have this pre-baked and completely cooled before moving on. So that's all set and ready for us. And of course, the star of the tart are the tomatoes. So I have them sliced and I salted them with a little bit of kosher salt on both sides, and it's laying on about 4 layers of paper towel, and that is to absorb any excess water from the tomatoes. So just lightly salt them with, I use the Diamond kosher salt, and then we will blot the top when we're ready to use them. So here I used 3 large tomatoes, anywhere from 3 to 4, depending on the size is what you're looking for a 9-inch tart that I have here. And the filling is absolutely delicious. It starts with ricotta cheese. So we have here in this bowl a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons. And this is a small container of ricotta cheese. Of course, this container would probably make 2 tomato tarts, the full amount. You will need 2 large eggs, which I'm just going to whisk lightly here, and we will add this to our cheese, our ricotta cheese. And then there are 2 other cheeses that we are going to add. 4 ounces of fresh mozzarella, and you want to grate this, and some nice Parmesan Reggiano cheese, which you also want to grate. About a 1/2 cup is what you're looking for. We'll need a little bit of kosher salt and pepper, and then some fresh basil. Also, if you want to add a little bit of meat to your tomato tart, you can either cook a little bit of bacon, or you could add a little prosciutto or a little bit of cooked pancetta, but totally not necessary whatsoever. I'm going to add a little bit of bacon to my tart, but you certainly don't have to, and this is completely cooked and just diced. 2 slices, and that's all I'm going to add to it. So here's our beautiful basil that I just got from the garden. And you don't want to do this too much in advance because you don't want the basil to turn brown. So I'm just going to chiffonade some basil. And it's up to you how much basil you want. Do you want just a couple of tablespoons? You can have all the way up to a cupful of basil if you want to. So it really is your preference. I think I'll probably add about 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup of fresh basil. Now you can add this to your food processor. Take your ricotta cheese and all of your basil and just pulse it in your food processor, and it'll break the basil up very finely, and it'll also make your ricotta cheese turn kind of a light green. Here I'm just very thinly chiffonading, and I'm going to add the basil to my ricotta cheese. So let's just go over the ingredients one more time. It is 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of ricotta cheese, 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and 4 ounces of fresh mozzarella cheese, coarsely grated. And then however much basil you want to add to your dish, and if you want to incorporate a little bit of meat. We'll season it with salt and pepper, and then we'll brush the top of the tomato slices with some really good fruity extra virgin olive oil. So I'm just going to take this basil and put it right in to the cheese. This is very, very fragrant. It's very, very fresh. It's very nice. This recipe, by the way, is about 30 years old. It's a very old recipe. Okay, so I think I have a good amount of basil. And I'm going to, as I said, you can use the food processor. I didn't feel like pulling it out for this. So I just have my little mixer here. And I'm going to use it because I want to just incorporate a little bit of air into the ricotta cheese. So let's just go ahead and turn this on and mix the basil in. Now we want to add, let's start with about a scant teaspoon of kosher salt. And this is diamond, so if you're using the Morton, you would use half of that. Some fresh black pepper. And let's put in our 2 eggs. 2 large eggs. Okay. Just going to go around, make sure it's all incorporated nicely. And then we will go ahead and add our other 2 cheeses to our mixture. This looks great. I did not drain the ricotta cheese. This particular brand is very creamy and it's fairly dry, so I didn't drain it at all. Here's a half a cup of Parmesan Reggiano cheese and our 4 ounces of mozzarella. Just mix all that together and our filling is complete. Now let's put the tart in front of me. And I'm just going to sprinkle the bottom with a little bit of the cooked bacon. That I diced up in nice small pieces. So that was about, you can do 2 to 3 slices. You don't need much, just a little bit. And as I said, you don't even need it at all if you don't want to put it in. All right, so the next thing we want to do is add our filling. I do have my oven preset at 350 degrees. I put a tray in the oven to heat up as well, a sheet pan. And I'm going to set my tart directly on the hot sheet pan, just in case anything oozes out, the water from the tomatoes or something kind of oozes over the top, it doesn't go into the oven. That's just for precaution. All right, and then just take your spoon or spatula and just smooth this out. And this will bake at 350 degrees for about 40 to 50 minutes until the tart is completely set. And then you want it to rest for a few minutes before you go ahead and slice it. I would say let it rest for about 10 minutes. And this is also very, very good, even room temperature. Now it's time to put our tomato slices on top. I'm just going to take a sheet of paper towel and just blot the top, and it is picking up a good amount of water from the tomatoes. Quite a bit. All you want to do is take your slices of tomato, and they're about 1/4 to 1/3 inch thick, and just start going around. I'm going to use, I have 1 beefsteak, I have 2 heirlooms, and I'm just going to use the various colors to go around. By the way, if you have little pieces of tomato after you slice, and there's small little pieces of tomato, you can also put that in the bottom of the tart, just to keep the top really pretty. And then what we will do is brush the tomato slices with some extra virgin olive oil. This one is from France and it's delicious. It's very fruity, which is really, really nice. Okay. We're going to set one more slice of yellow right there. So this was 3 fairly large tomatoes, and I still have a couple of slices that I really can't use. Let me come around and show you. Here you have it completely covered all the way around. And now we'll just brush the top with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil of the tomatoes with a little bit of the oil. Since the tomatoes are so fruity, I really like to use a fruity olive oil, but if you prefer a more robust, go ahead and use whatever olive oil you really enjoy. Okay, our tart is complete, and now I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll check it in about 40 minutes, and lunch will be ready. Be back soon. It looks beautiful. Let me just set this down. So what you're looking for is to make sure that it's completely set. You can see it's nice and golden around the edges, but the custard is completely set, including the center. You need to make sure that the center is also completely set. So this took about 50 minutes to complete. And I'm going to just take it off this pan, put it on a cooling rack, and just let it rest for about, I would say, 10 minutes. And then we'll be able to slice it and enjoy it with just a nice simple green salad that I've prepared. This would be wonderful as part of a really nice brunch or a nice luncheon, a buffet luncheon. This would be absolutely great. Another item that you could add to this tart that I have done before is saute some shallots. You know, about 2 nice large shallots, saute them and put that on the bottom of the crust. That's also a very nice flavor that goes well with the cheese and the tomatoes. And then for garnish, if you just have a nice small little bouquet of fresh basil, you could put that in the center. It would look beautiful, but I think it looks quite lovely just the way it is. So here you have a wonderful tomato tart for the summer. Enjoy, everyone. See you next time. Bye now.